I'm not going to be surprised if Deshaun Watson, we're going to talk about him in just a moment, but I won't be surprised if Deshaun starts next week or if they go back to Dillon Gabriel and that's the end of Shedeur.
The opportunity to see Cam Ward up close and personal, and you see Shedeur Sanders up close and personal. If Shedeur Sanders comes out here and plays well, I think I have him throwing for 270 something.
You know, so a lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't gonna happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen.
I'm hanging in with Shedeur. The Browns should win this game. They better win this game, and I believe they will win this game 7.
The Cleveland Browns versus the Tennessee Titans. Two basement dwellers. Two teams playing for draft positioning. Two franchises that have been absolute train wrecks this season. On paper, this looks like the kind of game you skip to watch literally anything else. But here's what you're missing. This game might determine the future of an entire organization. We're talking about the general manager, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and most importantly, we're talking about whether Shedeur Sanders has a legitimate future as an NFL starting quarterback.
This is a crucial, pivotal, make-or-break game in Cleveland for Shedeur Sanders.
Like this video if you love Shedeur. Comment SS100 if you want to see him win. Let's start with the stakes. The Browns are currently sitting in prime position for a top pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. We're talking about potential access to guys like Fernando Mendoza, the Cal quarterback who's been tearing it up. If Cleveland beats Tennessee this Sunday, their odds of landing the #1 overall pick drop from 12% down to less than 1%. But here's where it gets interesting. The conventional wisdom says the Browns need to lose out, tank for that top pick, and draft their quarterback of the future. Except there's one massive problem with that logic. They already have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Deshaun Watson with his fully guaranteed $80 million disaster of a contract, Dillon Gabriel, their 3rd-round pick who looks scared to make a mistake, and Shedeur Sanders, the 5th-round flyer that owner Jimmy Haslam personally insisted they take.
Opportunity, and I was able to show the organization, show everybody who I really am, then now it's truly exciting.
Now let's talk about Shedeur Sanders specifically. This kid came into the league with all the hype in the world. Deion Sanders' son, the swagger, the confidence, the arm talent. But he fell to the 5th round because teams had questions. Questions about his pocket presence. Questions about whether he could process NFL defenses fast enough. Questions about whether the name on his back mattered more than the tape. And what have we seen so far? Flashes. Just flashes.
I was just waiting the whole time to put a watch on him.
Sanders. Downfield, got him in! Horn!
Shedeur has shown moments where you think, okay, maybe there's something here, but he hasn't put together that complete performance that makes you slam your hand on the table and say, this is our guy. This is the future. The Browns need that game. They need it desperately. And it needs to happen on Sunday against Tennessee. The matchup itself is fascinating because you've got 2 rookie quarterbacks going head-to-head. Cam Ward, the 1st overall pick of the Titans, has been absolutely horrendous. Pro Football Focus ranks him as the worst quarterback in the entire league right now. 7 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, 6 lost fumbles, 48 sacks, which leads the NFL. The guy's been running for his life all season behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. But here's the thing, the Browns' defense is elite, like legitimately one of the best units in the league. Myles Garrett is hunting for the sack record. The secondary has been locked down. The linebackers are flying around making plays. Carson Swinger, the rookie linebacker that nobody had heard of before the draft, might win Defensive Rookie of the Year. If there was ever a perfect setup for Shedeur to look like a star, this is it.
I don't think Shedeur will have to do too much. I think they keep it like they normally keep it just because the Titans are so bad, right? Let the defense go out there and get 5-6 sacks because the Titans are giving up 4 a game. And you put it on your defense. Maybe they get a turnover. Maybe they score on defense. And have
the weather's going to be a factor. Snow's in the forecast. Winds around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Not the insane 50-mile-per-hour gust from last week, but enough to make life difficult for both quarterbacks. And you know what? That might actually help Shedeur. Keep the game simple, lean on Nick Chubb in the running game, let the defense dominate. Take your shots when they're there. Don't try to be a hero, just manage the game, get the win, and show that you can operate in tough conditions.
If Shedeur Sanders comes out here and plays well, I think I have him throwing for 270 something, and a couple touchdowns with a win.
That's the expectation. Around 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, protect the football, get the victory. But it's not just about the stats. It's about the eye test, because you know who's watching this game like a hawk. Jimmy Haslam, Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski. They're evaluating everything. The decision-making, the accuracy, the pocket presence, the leadership. Can Shador command this offense? Can he elevate the players around him? Does he look like a guy you can build around? And this is where the Jerry Jeudy situation becomes critical. There's been tension between Shador and his number 1 receiver. We saw it on the sidelines last week. Jeudy getting in the rookie's face, clearly frustrated with something. Now, is that normal veteran-to-rookie communication? Maybe, but it doesn't look good, especially when you're trying to establish yourself as the leader of this offense. Shador needs Jeudy to have a monster game. He needs that connection to click, because if your top receiver doesn't believe in you, how is anyone else supposed to? Let's zoom out and talk about the bigger organizational implications. Andrew Berry, the general manager, has been on the hot seat for years. His draft classes before this year were terrible. Defensive line busts, receiver busts, offensive line disasters. But this year, this draft class might save his job. Carson Swinger looks like a future All-Pro. Quan Junkins has been their best offensive player. Harold Fannin Jr. is outproducing some of the tight ends taken ahead of him. Mason Graham has been excellent over the last month. If Shador turns into a legitimate starting quarterback, Andrew Berry can walk into Jimmy Haslam's office and say, "Look at what I built for you."
The Cleveland Browns now have a beautiful draft class, and they got guys that are promising and contributing at a high level, and they're rookies. Some of the best players that they have are rookies.
That's a powerful argument for job security. Berry can say he identified young talent that's producing right now. He can argue that with one more offseason, with a few more draft picks, with some offensive line help and another weapon or two, this team can compete. But if Shedeur face plants against Tennessee, that argument gets a lot weaker. Then there's Kevin Stefanski, the 2-time coach of the year, the offensive genius who's supposed to develop quarterbacks and create innovative schemes. Except his offense has been brutal for 2 straight years. They've been one of the most anemic units in football. And here's the problem. Stefanski's the play caller. This is his system. His offensive coordinators keep getting fired because they're running his playbook. At some point, you can't keep blaming the coordinators when the head coach is the one designing everything. The speculation around the league is that Stefanski might be done in Cleveland regardless of what happens. There are reports that he and Dillon Gabriel were spotted at a holiday fair, which sounds innocent until you realize they have the same agent. There are rumors that Stefanski's camp is already putting out feelers for his next job, letting people know that he'd be available. That's the classic sign of a coach who knows his time is running out. But could Stefanski save his job? Absolutely. If Shedeur balls out over these final 5 games, if the Browns finish strong, if they show tangible progress on offense, Jimmy Haslam might decide that continuity is more valuable than another coaching search. Because let's be real, who's Cleveland going to hire that's definitively better? The coaching carousel is brutal. There are no guarantees. Sometimes you're better off sticking with what you know rather than rolling the dice on the unknown. The draft conversation is where things really get interesting. There are mock drafts all over the internet showing Cleveland taking a quarterback in the first round. Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Ty Simpson, all these names are being thrown around as potential franchise saviors. But here's the reality check. If there's a consensus number 1 quarterback and the Browns don't have the number 1 pick, the cost to trade up is going to be astronomical. We're talking both of their first-round picks this year, probably a first-rounder next year, maybe more. That's an insane price to pay when you already have 3 quarterbacks on the roster and massive holes everywhere else. The offensive line is a disaster. They don't have a single lineman under contract for next year. The receiving core is mediocre at best. Cedric Tillman is solid, but he's not a number 1. Jeudy has been inconsistent. Elijah Moore disappeared. So the question becomes, do you really want to invest all your draft capital in another quarterback when you can't protect him and you can't give him weapons?
You're willing to take those picks and grab another quarterback. You have Dillon Gabriel, a 3rd-round pick. Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round pick. and Deshaun Watson, who is an $80 million cap hit if you try to get rid of him.
That's the brutal math. 4 quarterbacks on the roster, limited resources to improve the offense around them, and you want to add a 5th quarterback? That's not a rebuild. That's organizational chaos. That's running it back with the same broken pieces and hoping for a different result, which, as they say, is the definition of insanity. The smart move, the logical move, is to invest in infrastructure. Draft a left tackle, draft a #1 receiver, sign some veteran offensive linemen, build around Shador for 1 year and see what you got. If he shows progress, if he develops, if he proves he can be the guy, then you found your answer without spending premium draft capital. If he struggles, if he plateaus, then you go quarterback shopping in 2026 or 2027 when you've actually built an offense that can support a young quarterback. Look at the rookie quarterbacks who are succeeding right now. Caleb Williams has Ben Johnson calling plays and an upgraded offensive line. Jaden Daniels has Cliff Kingsbury's system and a solid supporting cast. Bo Nix has Sean Payton, one of the best offensive minds in football. Drake May has Josh McDaniels. These guys aren't just talented, they're in situations designed to help them succeed. Shedeur doesn't have that. He's got a lame duck coaching staff, a suspect offensive line, and receivers who can't consistently get open. This Sunday isn't just about winning or losing, it's about evaluation. Can Shedeur process defenses quickly enough? Can he make the throws that need to be made? Can he lead in adverse conditions? Does he have the it factor that separates good quarterbacks from great ones? The Browns need answers. They need clarity because the entire offseason hinges on what happens over the next month. The predictions are all over the place. Some analysts have Shedeur throwing for 270 with 2 touchdowns. Others are more conservative, thinking he'll stay under 200 yards in the snow. But here's what everyone agrees on. He needs to win. The stats can be mediocre. The performance can be imperfect, but if he walks off that field with a victory, if he outplays Cam Ward, if he shows composure and leadership, that buys him at least 1 more week, maybe more. Shedeur Sanders needs to prove it. Not next week, not next month, now. In the snow, against the terrible team, with his coaches watching, with his owner judging, with his entire future on the line. That's the reality. That's the pressure. That's what makes this game so damn important. Welcome to the NFL, Rook. Time to show us what you're really made of.